Okay, good afternoon everyone. Today we will discuss the concept of OOPS. In the previous lecture, we already discussed the what is object oriented programming, what are the benefits of object oriented programming, as well as what are the areas where we use the object oriented programming. Now, today we will discuss some important concept of the OOPS. This is a list of the OOPS concept, that is object, classes, abstraction, data encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, and the message passing. Now, first we discuss what is object. In the diagram, here is a showing the object. Okay, attribute. Object is a runtime entity where we access the member functions as well as the data member of the class. Okay, now here attribute is a object, that is entity. We are access the data there from the class. Here object is having only object is authorized, which is having the access for data member as well as the member function of the class. Now object are the basic runtime entities of an object oriented programming. They are represent a person, a place or any item that the program must handle. Object is declared in the main program. Okay, and this is some example of the object. Then object, when a program is executed, the object is interact with a sending message to another. Object is just a mediator between the main program as well as the class. For example, if a customer and the account are the two objects in the program, then the customer object may send a message to a account object requesting for the bank balance. Then each object contain data and the code to manipulate the data. Now, next is a classes. Class is just like a function or just like a user data type. Okay, and classes is having the various type of data member and the member function, and it's encapsulated. So classes are the user-defined data type and it behave like Boolean type of programming language. Then object contain code and the data which can be made user-defined type using the class. Object are the variable of a class. Once a class has been defined, we can create any number of objects for that class. A class is collection of an object of a similar type. For class is encapsulated data member and the member function. Then we can create object of using the following. First of all, class name and then object name. Here the class name is a class which is already created. Object name is any user defined name. For example, if a student is a class, so student is class name and Ram and Sham is an object. Now one more thing I included here, class name is always start with the capital letter of a alphabet. Okay. In the example, Ram and Sham are the name of the object for the class student. We can create any number of objects for the class. Encapsulate. In the diagram, this is showing the one capsule. Okay. It capsule is having the various type of components. Similarly, class is a like a capsule and classes is having the various type of functions and the variables. Okay, here method is similar as a function. Okay, now encapsulation is a first pillar of a principle of an object oriented programming. In the C programming, data is a global as well as a local, and every function is having the access for accessing the global data. But in the oops, data is hidden from the main main function. Okay, so data is encapsulated in the classes. Encapsulation is the first pillar of the principle of the object oriented programming. In the simple word, encapsulation is a process of a binding data variable properties and the member function into a single unit, and the class is the best example of encapsulation. For example, medical store. Okay, in the medical store there is having the various types of medicines. Let's say you have to buy a medicine, you go to the medical store and ask the chemist for the medicine. Only the chemist has access to the medicines in the store based on your prescription. The chemist knows that the medicine to give to you. This reduces the risk of your taking any medicine that is not intended for you. Now, this is example medicine. This example is compared with the classes. Okay, here the medicines are the member function, member variable, then chemist is a member function, and you, that is external application or the piece of code. Now, encapsulation, what exactly doing the work? Okay, so here is a class, and class is having the public visibility. Okay, then here is instances, that is variable. Instances means variable, and public methods, that is function. Okay, and private is also visibility. Public visibility is having the public visibility is access for the outsiders, and private visibility is only for the class members. Okay, this concept is called as encapsulation. Through the encapsulation, data is not accessible to the outside world, and only these functions which are wrapped in the class can access it. Encapsulation solves the problem of implementation level, because here compiler is knows that where data is actually encapsulated and where data is access for that object. Okay, a class can specify how accessible each of the members, then variable properties, and the method is to code the outside of the class. So encapsulation means hiding the important feature of the class which is not been needed to be exposed outside of the class, and exposing only necessary things of the class. Here hidden part of a class act like a encapsulation, and the exposed part of the class is like abstraction abstractions. Okay, now what is abstraction? Abstraction means hidden of the data. Abstraction refers representation of a necessary feature without including more detail or the explanation. Means what? When the object is called some methods or some function, then only that function is called. Other data is hidden from the compiler. Okay. Data abstraction is a programming and the design technique that relies on the separation of interface and the implementation. When you press any key on your keyboard, the character appear on the screen. You need to know only this, but how exactly it works based on the electronically is not needed. This is called as abstraction. Means what? When we press any key, that time only that key character is pressed, and this is just visible on the screen. Other character are hidden. This concept is a real-time application of an abstraction. Another example is when you use the remote control on your TV, you do not bother about how pressing a key in the remote changes the channel on the TV. You must know that pressing the plus volume button will increase the volume. Now, what is inheritance? Inheritance means reusing the property from base class to derived class. Okay. Now, this is a real time of, example, that is your grandfather is your father is accessing the some feature of your grandfather's. Okay, and you is also accessing the feature of your father, so indirectly you access the feature of your grandfather. Okay, similarly here class A is your main base class, then class B is your parent class, and class C is your derived class. Okay, so here class B is access the property of class A, and class C is accessing the property of class B. So Similarly, indirectly, a class C is accessing the properties of class A and class B. Here is a vehicle is a class. Vehicle is a two types, that is a car and truck. Then car is also two types, that is electric and petrol. Means what? Vehicle class properties is accessing in the car, and then car is a accessing the properties, that is electrics. Okay. Now, what is inheritance? The mechanism of deriving a new class from an old class is called as inheritance or the derivation. The old class is known as the base class, while the new class is known as a derived class or the subclasses. The inheritance is the most powerful feature of an OOPS because it provides the reusability property of the base class to derived class. For example, consider an example of a family we already discussed of a three-member having a mother, father, and a son named as Jack. Okay, Jack father tall and dark. Then Jack mother is a small and fair. Jack is a tall and fair. So he said to have inherited the feature of the father and the mother respectively. Now, inheritance, through the effective use of inheritance, you can save lots of time in your programming and also reuse the errors, which in turn will increase the quality of work and the productivity. Inheritance is provides the property for reusing the code. If I have used the one function, then if I need again that function, then we can call same function. This is called as inheritance. Now, what are the type of inheritance? There is having the four types. That is single inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance, and multi-level inheritance. We will explain all above in detail later when we cover inheritance. Okay. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism means the same name different times. Okay. This is called as polymorphism. Polymorphism is a Greek term which means ability to take more than one form. For example, plus is used to make a sum of the two numbers as well as it is used to combine a string. This is also known as operator overloading because some operator may behave differently on a different instances. Now look at this operator plus here used for the arithmetic operator as well as here is used for the concatenation of the two strings. Now same way function can be overloaded. For example, some function may take the two argument for three argument, that is some 5 7 or some 5 6 7. Here the function name is the same but a list of argument is a different. This is called as a function overloading. This single function print drawn the different object. Now here print is having the three functions. So this is a print function is a overloaded. Now, what is dynamic binding? Dynamic binding itself means what? Runtime binding. When the procedure is called, then code is executed. It's called as dynamic binding. It is the process of linking of the function call to the actual code of the function at the runtime. This is in a dynamic binding, the actual code to be executed is not known to the compiler until the runtime. It is also called as late binding. For example, the compiler comes to know at the runtime that which function of this sum will be called either with two argument or the three argument. Next is a message passing. Give me your name. This is a sender is sent to the receiver, then receiver is replying. This is called as a message passing. In the OOPS is provided the this most important feature that is called as message passing. The object can communicate it with the each other by passing the message, same as the people passing the message with each other. Objects can send or receive the message or information. Message passing involves the following basic steps: creating the classes that define the object and their behavior, then creating the object from the class definition, then establishing the connection among the objects. Concept of message passing make it easier to talk about building the system that directly model or simulate their real world counterparts. Then, for example, consider the two classes, product and the order. The object of the product class can communicate with object of the order class by sending a request for placing the order. Now, this is a working diagram of message passing. Here is a three object is defined, that is student object, faculty object and the management object, and they are communicated with each other. So today we will stop here. We will continue cons- constructor in the next lecture. Thank you.